There is the belief that the Army is woke and that we are getting softer. You couldn't be farther from the truth.
I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age.
2, 3, 2, 1.
So I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with the greatest fighting force the world has ever known, the U.S. Army. I'm drilling down. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. Let's take a gander.
Drill sergeants aren't cussing at soldiers anymore. If you got to use that language to get somebody to do something, you are not relevant in our Army anymore.
Got it.
You're a tough guy. Do something. Do something.
So they soften up basic training, come up with Emma's two moms, and then recruiting goes down. You go, is there a correlation? The Army says, of course there's not a correlation, buddy.
That's what I thought.
You decided to join the Army and you can't pick.
To win everything the whole cycle, you still stay humble.
That was the new Army, the guy with the little mousy voice talking about, just win everything, my little guys. You'll be okay.
You still stay humble.
And then you wonder why people are like, kids, like, I don't know if I want to go into this. I was raised soft as hell. I want to toughen up a little bit, at least pretend. I know I'm going to be a satellite technician, but I want to harden up. That was kind of the goal here.
I think right now we're at about 40,000 in a deficit. We also can't keep people in Army. People don't want to stay.
The way drill sergeants are trained has also changed.
That's frankly something that we adopted during the Vietnam era.
Bullshit, General. That's been around since World War II, probably since the inception of ever there being a draft. They always harken back to, it's because of the draft, we were meaner, right? We got a generation of fatherless kids who were raised without any structure. And you think we can go now to being, well, the kids are smarter. We don't need to give them as much discipline. These guys are fucking clueless.
It's because we had a drafted force.
Right there, you are right there!
We're breaking a lot of habits from the civilian world, and nothing better than a little shock to the system to establish that that drill sergeant is in charge.
So we had the general saying, we got to soften up, bro. These kids are smarter. 2 years ago, they were like, we got to get the kids squared away because they come in with all sorts of varying value systems. How did that change so much? How did the talking points from the damn U.S. Army change so radically?
Yelling at a trainee, yelling at an individual, period, they get into defense mode. They shut down.
The point,
right? Those barriers go up. And once those barriers go up, it's pretty hard to really get to the root cause of situations.
What does that even mean, get to the root cause situation? The kid can't do a left face properly, doesn't know his left from his right when he gets under stress. This is not a big deal. Go visit an Army base and you got a brand new PFC. When you see them, they're fat. I've been spending some time at Fort Carson with the family member who's injured, and what do I see? I see PFC specialists who are 40 pounds overweight. All over the place. I'm not talking with knee braces on, just fat.
And training has changed to better prepare the Army of tomorrow. With a new approach to training in mind, future drill sergeants learn the 3 different methods for.
And here is one of the major underlying problems right here. Listen really closely. The drill sergeants don't go there by choice. They don't volunteer to maybe pick up a stripe, move forward their career. They're picked by the Army, so 2/3 don't want to be there.
Training recruits.
On the command at ease, the soldier may move. However, he must remain standing and silent with the right foot in place.
These methods give drill sergeants the ability to customize their training instead of a one-size-fits-all approach.
Everybody drives different. Everybody does something different. Different ways to skin a cat. But here, the purpose of what we're doing here at the Academy is to have a standardized way of effectively training trainees to do something.
Right.
Though there's flexibility in how drill sergeants can train new recruits, there isn't always flexibility in becoming a drill sergeant in the first place.
This is a very key point. Listen very closely. And listen to even the scripted responses from the young sergeants and staff sergeants who don't want to be here.
Of the 2,200 drill sergeant candidates who come through the academy each year, on average, only 35% of them volunteer. The remaining 65% are DA selected.
So becoming an Army drill sergeant's like getting guard duty or police call duty on the base. You get picked. So you're not probably the best in your unit. Hear me out for a second. If you're a radio repairman and you're outstanding, do you think your unit's going to pick to send you off to drill sergeant school? Absolutely not. Does it happen? I'm sure it does. Don't get butthurt. But this isn't the best and the brightest the Army has because they're forcing them to go.
Which means they were nominated by their superiors and assigned a tour as a drill sergeant.
What went through your mind when you got that?
I got a bit emotional because I was like, I have 3 kids. First thing coming to your mind is like the hours. My kids are young, so felt like I was going to be taken away from them for a while.
She's not happy.
It wasn't my first choice. My husband was deployed. I was at home with a kid by myself and working full time, so I thought it was not ideal.
No,
and I didn't want to do it at first.
So from the start, this is a bad idea. Why not make it where there's some upside for people doing this? People want to do it. The people that got the time, their family situations just right where they can do it, and not force people to do it from their units. So again, you're not going to pick probably the best person. You want to keep them with your unit. You're not going to give up your best people. You're going to give up your average people. Yeah, there's some people who volunteer. I understand. Don't get butthurt, but let's focus on this.
Your mind changed.
Yes, 100%. It is 100% changed. Being here has given me a whole new perspective on being a drill sergeant and being in TRADOC and training trainees.
Now, do you think she could say anything else? Could she say, you know what, I still wish I wasn't doing this. I wish I was back in my unit. I got family, kids. I don't want to be doing this job 100 hours a week. Do you think she could say anything but the scripted talking points she's required to say? The answer is no.
Young people ages 16 to 24 are less inclined to join the military, reaching the lowest level since 2007. And perceptions about military culture may also contribute to low recruitment.
People look at sexual assault, sexual harassment, abuse, PTSD, all these things, which is things that people say is happening.
What you'll notice here is they haven't thrown in the poke, right? They don't say. There's some kids not joining because they feel like the forcing of this thing they don't want. Is it a fringe thing? I know what you're thinking here. Well, you all get the vaccinations, buddy boy. Yeah, we used to get anthrax and bromide vaccinations. We don't anymore. And kids just don't want to do it. You know, there's a lot of moving parts here, but they're not going to mention the poke.
Army, and you all are the ambassadors to make change in that rhetoric. You all over the next 2 or 3 years have an opportunity to change the dynamic.
I expect you to perform at this particular standard, full stop, and then allow them to execute at that standard without having to do all the other antics. You're going to have a far better product.
This guy's a complete war college talking points machine. All the antics. You got kids coming from parentless homes, fatherless homes. They don't understand discipline at all. The antics get the kids to listen, right? I'm not talking the whole time, but a couple weeks. Shock them, get them to listen, pay attention, listen first, speak later. And they're not getting it.
It doesn't mean that we've relaxed any standards. It means there's the same amount of structure and discipline we've always had in Army training. We just do it in a professional way.
There are 5 events in the culminating training event. First event is the battle march and shoot. It's basically a stress shoot.
Now, the training looks good enough. I'll link in the description the full video. But when you see the end product, you got a lot of people that just don't look the part. They don't look hard as nails. You want to show up to your new recruits, and they're like, wow, look at this guy. He's vascular, hard, can run, looks like he can outdo us, and they don't look that way.
They march a certain amount of distance, and then once they get to their objective, which is a range, they immediately drop their rucks and get down into their fighting positions, and they start engaging their targets. Following the battle march and shoot, we have the sticks lanes.
Get down! Let's go!
So they run through different lanes, reacting to contact, breaking contact.
This is like basic shit you do in boot camp. I'm not sure how this is any kind of advanced training. Okay, whatever.
Things of that nature. Once they go through that, they'll move on to their next task, which is the third one, which is a mass casualty event, or MASCAL. They'll be marching from one point to another, and in between those points.
Now, we all know the meme of the recruit who leaves Paris Island. Hard as shit for maybe a year, right? Loves it. Why? The drill instructors instill that. You want to be like your DI. You may hate them, but they can run, they can push, they can do everything better than you. These guys just don't seem to get it, and I understand why. They're forced to go. 2/3 are forced to go to this.
Heavy contact.
Let's go! Let's get the bird in here!
The drill sergeant leader candidates who are in charge of the particular MASCAL event, they're going to walk around and say, hey, you know, you've been hit by IDF, your right leg is blown off, right? And now they're trying to assess, you know, what is everybody going to do when there is a mass casualty event? How are we going to remain calm and control the situation?
Ah! You're good. That shrapnel, can't yank it like that.
Stupid. And this is the best footage that Business Insider via the U.S. Army is giving us. It's supposed to motivate somebody. You want to get out of the Army basic and become a drill sergeant. This just looks soft to me.
In the mass casualty event, we have the Fit to Win, which is the obstacle course that they go through.
All right, so today our task.
Whoever's in charge of the Army's marketing needs to be fired. Fit to Win. All these stupid things are like fat camp for little 12-year-olds.
Is to negotiate the endurance course, right?
Each squad will run through each obstacle, and they will basically do it for time.
Back out there out. We're good.
You got it, Rod.
Had to slow-mo her getting off a pull-up bar or a monkey bars, whatever the hell they used to call it. That's sweet.
Roll that.
The goal here is to, build that camaraderie, build that competition, so at the end, somebody can have bragging rights.
We don't need camaraderie amongst the drill sergeants. We need them able to train the new recruits, to be better than them, to be in better shape, to know the shit better than them. That's what they need. We don't need camaraderie among the damn drill sergeants. I got a couple takeaways here. First, make this a volunteer-only operation, so you want to get into this. You got to show your top tier in your MOS to get to this. 2/3 don't want to be here. Right off the bat, that's a shitty idea. It's like the guy getting selected for guard duty, a police call around the base, some shit duty. These people don't want that. It's going to reflect in the way they train recruits. Thanks for watching.